In his community, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was known as the El Emin, and this means that the trustworthy,
MashaAllah.
because he has a noble shed in his face, shed light, and convinced everyone to who saw his honesty. And we can see the same thing in the area that we live in. For example, I can see on my Muslim sisters that there's something different that the non-believers that doesn't have. For example, I have never seen anybody like Mr. Adnan Oktar.
Yes.
He's very
MashaAllah.
different, mashallah. He has something very different in his face, and it makes you feel something very different that you never feel to anybody else.
Close.
Complete trust.
Yes,
Yes.
mashallah. There is a complete trust in his face. You can see the faith in Allah. You can see the love of Allah, fear of Allah in his face. Mashallah, Allah in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's era, just Allah shows us the mumins that there is a trustworthy person. How can be his reflection, and we can inshallah see in the same time. But also we can see on the Hazreti Mehdi alayhi salam and Prophet Jesus. We
Inshallah.
can see
Yes,
the
yes.
same trustworthy face. We can see
Yes.
and we can recognize it from its face. Mashallah.
Yes,
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
You don't have to speak, you don't have to do anything. Only when you see him, you know that you can trust this person.
Yes,
MashaAllah.
mashallah.
And also in a Quran verse, a noble character of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been praised in Surat At-Takwir, verses 19 and 21. I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan. Verily, this is the word of a most honorable messenger, endued with power, which ranked before the Lord of throne, with authority there, and faithful to his trust. You talked about our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his other name El Emin, and this El Emin name is given to them by the polytheists, not only the believers, also the polytheists and unbelievers.
And
Because
just before he has been a prophet of
Yes.
Allah.
Yes.
MashaAllah.
so everybody trusted him.
Yes.
And actually, at this time, we also see this at Mr. Adnan Oktar,
Yes.
because even people don't want to read his books, or sometimes they don't understand many things, but they know that they can trust him
Yes.
because he's always true. He's always
saying
real.
the truth.
Yes, he's always acting true, and he will never do anything against the will of Allah.
Yes.
He always says that, and anyone who has the soul to understand it can understand it by just looking at his face.
Yes. He has a deep fear in Allah,
Yes.
and Allah manifests in
And
him
sincerity.
Yes, the sincerity, mashallah.
Mashallah.
Everybody can trust him. Mashallah, he's so trustful, and even non-believers that sometimes wants his help. Mashallah, because he
Mashallah.
knows that they know that he will help them because
Yes.
he has a fear of Allah.
Yes,
Mashallah.
mashallah.
That's
And-
why we love him so much.
Yes.
Yes,
mashallah.
mashallah. And Sister Donna said about the sincere love, the sincere look. So the love of Mr. Adnan Oktar is the most sincere love I saw in my
Yes,
life,
mashallah.
inshallah. Because he's not different in different places. He's the same at the
Every time.
TV. Yes, he's the same when he's among friends, mashallah. And he's always sincere. He always speaks
mashallah,
very
mashallah.
sincerely and always love very sincerely. That is the other reason that we love him so
Yes,
much,
mashallah.
mashallah.
MashaAllah. And actually, this is a blessing for us,
Yes.
for all the Muslims, for Muslims to see, to understand that, because Allah creates neurons, Allah creates brain, Allah creates some electrical interactions or vision, light, faces, contractions, the muscles, everything. But actually, it is the thing that Allah creates in the soul
Yes.
to feel the blessing of Allah. Because trust is something only Allah gives into the heart of Muslims.
Yes.
And trust and confidence. And this is something, if Allah gives it to our heart, we should thankful to Allah for this. Because it is very important to have. It is one of the most valuable things in the earth
Yes.
to have.
Yes.
Trust, love of Allah, feel
Yes.
the confidence, feel the strength. And inshallah, it is our soul that have the feeling and understanding. It is not the brain. It is very important
Yes,
for the
it's impossible for
people to
brain.
understand that brain can never sense anything, can
Yes.
never understand, can never make the solution, understand the final act. It is the soul that can
Yes.
understand everything that
And-
Allah creates.
Yes. And you talked, we all talked about the trust. When we are talking about the other, the non-Muslims or non-believers, also there is a very important point that most of them are depressed. It is just because that they have no one to believe, they have no
Yes.
one to trust.
Yes.
But by the mashallah, by the behaviors of the Mr. Adnan Oktar and all the Muslims among us, we have witnessed that only by the Allah's love, by the fear of Allah, the Muslims can show the most valuable moral values to each other. And this is why we are really very comfortable with our Muslim sisters and our other friends, alhamdulillah. This is a blessing from Allah. This is why the other people cannot feel comfortable in the other among masses. But we as Muslims, alhamdulillah, feel the trust that Allah is creating for us.
Yes,
Yes,
mashallah.
mashallah.